Welcome, everyone, to episode 370 something, 76 of Dial the Gate, the Stargate Oral History Project. My name is David Reed. I appreciate you being here with me because this may very well be it should be our final state of the gate. And appropriately enough, Jenny Stiven, industry specialist in marketing, is back. And along with Darren Sumner. Hello, guys. How are you?
Doing amazing, obviously, for so many good reasons. So
Absolutely. I think it's time to celebrate. So
it's not going to let me talk.
Go ahead, Darren. What'd you say?
Now I'm getting the audio coming through I got to mute YouTube.
Why?
I thought you were saying something, and it's just the YouTube. I got to mute it.
Jenny, you need a hat.
I need a hat?
You do.
I can't see you, David. Are you on somewhere?
Yeah, I'm on. We're broadcasting. Hang on just a second here.
Your camera's turned off.
There. Yeah, I had to reboot the thing. Sorry. Well, no wonder I need a hat. So now you see?
Oh my God, that's awesome. I should have done that.
There we go. Oh, Darren's got one.
Wait, I don't.
Jenny.
I can find this.
Jenny. Ask your husband. Maybe he has one.
TJ, I need something like bells. Bells. Bells.
We did it.
Thank you, Tim.
Oh.
We did it. Not alone, but we helped. Thank you, Tim. Appreciate you.
You bet.
Yeah, by we did it, I mean we survived.
Oh, yes, we did indeed.
Turn around.
Okay, why isn't this doing this thing here?
Oh, yeah, I guess that would be.
Why is that doing that?
Okay, there you go. You're all
Thanks, love.
You bet.
Perfect, guys. We are celebrating today. This is Jenny. This is your victory lap. You have been on this since season 2, I think. So what, about 2021? We've been having these conversations in some form before we even had the name State of the Gate.
Yep.
And I've got to say thank you.
Oh my gosh, of course.
You giving us, a lamp unto our feet, a light unto our path, through the void between two galaxies. And now we're coming out of it. And the information that you gave us was really invaluable because it showed us that things aren't as simple as they seem to be. Like when we watch the news and things like that, there's a lot of plumbing that has to work out for something like this to like a new series to be brought off the ground, especially with moving MGM from where it was to where it is now.
Right.
And the time that took and everything else.
Right.
How do you feel today? How did you feel when you found out? What's your mood like?
Giddy.
Yeah.
Just so giddy. And it's not just about what you and I have done with Darren on Dial the Gate and done State of the Gate. You and I have been together since 2007-6 with Darren. And I've been working on it since 2002. So the thing that I'm most excited about is, and anybody who was with Stargate Command or all those years where I was doing the tours where I would say, hey, it's going to come to you. The thing I got to be honest that I'm most excited about is 240 countries. That's the part that actually makes me, because I got
to talk about that today.
Everyone gets it at once.
I got so tired of saying it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. And I was saying that before Stargate Command, because when we were on, old school VHS and DVDs, that we weren't even being able to localize for all territories. So I got to be honest, as the international person, that is one of the number one things I'm excited about. The number 2 thing I'm excited about is, oh my God, our Stargate family. This is so amazing. This Stargate family, the Stargate fans, the Brad, Joe, Martin of it all of the people that we are involved with and have been involved with across cast, crew, and David, obviously with your archival, we now have such a deep dive. And that was something you wanted to do going back to 2015. Well, probably before then, but we talked about it. I found notes I found notes
Yeah.
because I went back and I looked. I meant to have all my pictures ready for this, but weekend. So I went back and I looked at all our notes. And 2015, in my handwritten notes in a notebook, I had written up a proposal to give to Michael Brown at MGM that said we need to do an audio archival of how we got here. And that's 2015, 10 years ago. How's that for reminiscing?
How's that for determination?
It makes me so happy because you made that happen. And Darren, you guys talk about keeping the flame alive. There are Irene Stroback, so many people around the world who pounded the drum non-stop.
Right.
And I know you guys have done this. I know Martin did this call out, but I feel particularly happy about that the Stargate family of fans was heard, which really honestly is all we all wanted, was to be heard.
Yeah.
And to be heard by one of the people that we trust the most, Martin, who has worked his ass off in this particular industry and worked it very much in a creative standpoint for sci-fi.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's amazing. I just think that's you can't top it.
It's been so wonderful to see fans come from all corners, north and south and east and west, online to celebrate this news. The explosion, the outpouring, the tidal wave has been amazing to watch.
Yeah.
As a fan who's been around for 25 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. But thank you. Thank you for the hopium when I needed that dose.
Are you kidding?
Hopium.
I mean, okay, well, as a fan, first of all, not a problem. I've always been there. I've always been there. People that know me know I'm on the podcast just walked by our window.
She's so streaming.
They're waving to me. The fact of being a fan, and David and Darren, you know this better than anybody, that I got asked to work on Stargate way back when nobody gave a hoot about it except for MGM. But when I was working with Fox and MGM, nobody cared. It was me and Michael Brown and one other internal person over there. And
you guys were just tooling along.
We just loved it. And to be a fan and get asked to work on a show that you're already a fan of, that's crazy.
Exactly.
So dream come true, dream come true, dream come true. And then in 2015 to get, for all of its faults, Stargate Command was an absolute joy to work on. And getting to do Dialing Home with David, Darren, getting to do interviews with you, getting to do some of the really cool stuff we did at GateCons, being in Europe. I mean, it was crazy and it was a blast. And that just keeps happening. It's the gift that keeps on giving, not sarcastically. I mean that genuinely with joy. It is the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not over yet.
No, that's the whole point.
Can we take a beat here at the top of the show and just recap the news? Because I'm actually seeing comments already this morning from people who didn't hear last week.
Yep.
I posted Dial the Gates clip of Craig Veroni, and somebody posted that they just, through the Craig Veroni clip, discovered that Stargate's coming back. So people are going to continue to come into this for months, I think, and discover this news later.
I have Amazon friends who've left who didn't know till I posted. So it's fantastic. I think it's amazing. I think for Stargate family, it's amazing. And we're in that honeymoon period right now. Let's keep that joy.
Yep.
Let's keep that joy going. Let's keep expectations very, very even.
That's why you're here.
Because I want to make sure that everybody knows that Martin Garrow as a showrunner, first of all, he is producer, writer, showrunner. I don't know if everybody knows, but that means he's in control. So while Amazon might be the big money engine, somebody that he has worked with before, Safe House Pictures, is the production company behind it. And that means control is with him. To be a showrunner, a writer, and a producer, it happens more often now, but that didn't used to happen a lot at all. In fact, Brad and Joe are some of the first ones that ever got a chance to do that. And it means that we can trust Martin to write the way we love Stargate, have the stories be what we love, and not in any manner, shape, or form disparage or revisit history in a way that we don't want. And I think that is the biggest thing I want to do, is manage expectations on that level, because Amazon Prime Video, from what I'm hearing, talking over the weekend to friends that are still working there, their goal is not to do anything but hand the keys to Martin. And Dean and Roland are also executive producers. So there's really a great balance here of the entire universe. I mean, I don't know if everybody, their Stargate movie was with Lionsgate. So, I mean, this is to have everybody come together like this, to have Dean and Roland and Brad and Joe and Martin. I mean, it's crazy making. This is unheard of, that you have a movie crew, the TV universe crew, the new studio that bought you crew, all on the same page. And I really want to do a shout out to Nick Pepper, who I know we've talked about before on this show. He is one of those kind of quiet, unsung heroes that I don't think gets enough credit at Amazon TV and SVOD. He is someone who genuinely champions internally IP franchises like Stargate. He takes his time. He does his research. He pays attention to the fan base. It's very hard to take me seriously when I've got this on my head.
Okay,
but
we'll take it off.
No. I like it. I like the juxtaposition. But as I just was looking up at my picture, I'm like, ooh, I look like the Coneheads. So I think that Nick Pepper, for so many reasons, I have to say I didn't give him enough credit. I got to cop to that. Because based on what I'm hearing, 18 months ago when they were having these meetings, and we actually had a State of the Gate, I went back and I looked, just right after or before this. And we talked about the fact that we had heard that there was a rumor that the Expanse team and several other teams had come in and pitched. Remember, Amazon had sent out the call for production companies. Right. That's when Martin went in with Safe House Pictures, from what I've heard. I want to give so much credit to Nick Pepper for being careful, for taking their time, for paying attention, for going and getting Dean and Roland. That's what's taken all this time, is to line everything up correctly. That's, again, I got to say, that is unheard of. That he was given that amount of time. During, by the way, a regime change internally at Amazon twice since he's been hired, maybe 2.5, 3 times, if we count some of them. He stuck it out, got the team, did his research, got the fandom. That's listened to Martin and Brad and Joe when they recommended going to you guys to make the announcement.
Yeah.
This is not what's been happening.
That was kind of unbelievable to us.
I think it's totally believable. I think Darren, I don't think you guys ever give yourself enough credit, both of you. You both are very humble about, I know you're very proud of the impact you both have had.
We're proud of what we do, but I mean, we're just a couple of guys, you know, we're just doing what we do. And what we happen to do is something that people happen to enjoy when we're not screwing it up. So
oh my God. See, this is what I'm saying. Both of you and Darren, I mean, both of you are the epitome of understatement. Well, okay, David, you and I can definitely do overstatement, but
we can. There's a time and a place.
I think both of you don't give yourselves enough credit.
Can we, okay, Darren, you and I, we're awesome, right? We done a good job?
More or less.
Okay, so that's fine. So can we move on? Can we move on
that's
from us?
That's just for you, Jenny. That's just for you, Jenny.
That we are awesome, Jenny. Okay, there we go.
Let me follow up with Jenny with something that you just said, which is the Nick Pepper of it all. He's quoted in the press release, so he's now on record talking about the new show that they're doing. He's head of streaming video US TV inside Amazon. You also mentioned Safe House Pictures, which is those 2 other producers who were named in the press release that Stargate folks may not have heard of before. their safe house pictures. So your understanding of the way that the timeline works is that Martin had a connection with Safe House and they went to Amazon?
This is
Because
my
I know
understanding.
I was Googling Safe House this week, and I know they also had a deal set up.
Yes.
Safe House
So,
had their own Amazon deal
but it's a 3-year deal, which would
as
have
of
expired this
last
year.
year, I think.
Well, would have
2 years
expired this
ago.
year. So I think it's interesting. I don't know what's happening with that because I did try to do a deep dive to find whether or not that had been extended. This is, and again, Martin can correct me if this is not the right timeline for sure. This is my understanding from cobbling together different sources, is that in that call out to different production companies, that Safe House was either one of them, or they weren't particularly happy with what was being put on the table. We do know that the Expanse guys got through at least 1 or 2 rounds of conversations, either during that same time frame or right after. My understanding is somebody internally that we know went to Martin and said, hey, this isn't working and we need to figure something out. Now, I don't know how much of that is true because there's so much rumor circulating right now. I wouldn't be surprised because this person that we know at Amazon who survived from MGM knew Martin and had developed a relationship with Brad and Martin both, and Joe.
Okay.
So I wouldn't be shocked if that's how it happened, and that basically they went and said, do you have anything for us? Are you even interested? It's all very murky, but that's what I've heard so far, is that there was 18 months ago, we do know for sure there was the call out. Expanse and 2 others, I think J.J. Abrams sent in. I know for a fact J.J. Abrams sent in a concept deck. And what either happened was Safe House went ahead and pitched as well, or somebody went to Martin and he brought in Safe House to do the pitch as well.
Okay.
What I love about Safe House Pictures is they've got amazing writers. They've got amazing experience in this space. Whether or not you liked Obi-Wan or not, there is some great writing and there is some great character development in the pictures that they've had. They just did Novocaine. I think that there is an interesting combination here of Martin being the showrunner and the executive producer and writer, and bringing in Safe House Pictures as your production company. He looked for the right partner. You got to find the right partner. It could have been that he went to one of Amazon's go-tos, and he didn't. He went to someone, it's a much smaller production house, but actors and writers love them. It is a very creative, happy space to be in. The 2 owners are husband and wife team. They are extremely supportive of creators. They have a great relationship in this industry.
Yeah.
And again, kind of under the radar. People, you don't see a lot about them. They don't have a regular website. It's very cool that this is a group who just does the work because they love it. End of story. And that's who's partnered up. And I just think that's amazing. And then whoever internally, and again, I think it's this person who we worked with who went and got Dean and Roland and, all of these people. I do know that some of the people that we worked with at MGM during Stargate Command were consulted about how to move forward. Do we go talk to Dean? Do we go talk to Roland? And that was brilliant. It was just brilliant.
Should we unpack that? Should we unpack Dean and Roland being involved in this show?
Yeah,
I feel like we could spend an hour on that.
I'm really curious if you think it's, this is done to say, okay, this is a big deal, or this is, we're the divorced mom and dad are kind of, getting back together, or is this some on a creative level significant?
Right.
Because, you'll see producers left and right. It's like, what do they do? Well, they contributed financially, or, someone wanted their name on it. And it's like, these are 2 heavy hitters who are responsible for this whole thing to begin with.
Yeah, I don't think they'd be mentioned unless they were going to be consulted in some, because it'd be very easy to say, Dean Devlin's production company, Electric Now, will be distributing it, or, Roland was consulted. Instead, they're listed as executive producers. I seriously doubt that it's a money thing. I would bet dollars to donuts that there was a politics to this, which there should be. that you want to make sure that you are including the people that are in the entire universe, not just one part of it. Just as much as we all would have been really pissed if it had just been Dean and Roland's vision, it shouldn't just be Brad and Joe and Paul and Robert Cooper's vision. It needs to be a combination of, this is the entire universe, this is everything that's happened. And I don't think...
And origins, according to Martin.
We all know the rumors. Look, I read Roland's script. It was a great script from 2017. It was a great script. But my gut is, and certainly what I'm hearing, is that they are not going to be involved in a detail-oriented way. It's going to be in we made sure that they're involved. We make sure that if there are references to the universe that we pull in, that those are correct. And it's quite possible, since they're executive producers, that there is going to be a stitching together of the universes. I don't know that at all, but they're executive producers. They're not consulting.
Wow. We've got some questions for you here, and I think before we start burying them, I think we should start getting to some of them so we can weave these in and out through the conversation. Does that sound good?
Sure.
Okay. SGU Distant Hope for Jenny. Do you think this is something that they're going to fast track? Do you estimate a trailer sometime this coming year for a 27 release? What realistically is the time frame? We're not wanting to rush it per se. We just want to establish expectations. And what can we do on our end to, I'm assuming the more clicks, the better. It's like, there is something here, look at all these millions of views.
Well, usually you don't make this kind of announcement unless you're far enough along in pre-production that you have something coming within 3 to 6 months, whether it's a teaser, a trailer, concept art, something. Because from a marketing standpoint, it makes no sense to make this kind of a big announcement to a fan base that is active at 300,000, is reach at 1.2 million, unless you know that you've got something following up within the next year. I would say most productions at this level for sci-fi, even for streaming, take anywhere from 16 months to 3 years to get from concept to streaming. And that's if everything goes right.
Okay.
If they've spent the past 18 months working, and let's be honest, at least 6 to 10 months of that was just political maneuvering and getting everybody lined up and talking,
I'm sorry. I've had some saltines. I need some saltines, please. Thank you. That just one.
Oh my God, we know.
Peanut butter.
It took me a beat to figure that one out.
We know for a fact that at least a certain amount of time was spent on that. So let's say best case scenario, Martin's been spending the past 6 months in pre-production.
Okay.
Then I would say sometime best case scenario, Q1, Q2, most likely San Diego Comic-Con.
For a teaser.
For a trailer. Or a teaser.
For a well, or maybe a bigger announcement, cast announcements. So usually how this would go in a new marketing, this is not traditional anymore, right? So this is streaming, digital, different way that people are doing cast and production announcements. You make this kind of an announcement and you start making cast announcements usually fairly quickly right after. In addition to that, you start releasing either, especially for sci-fi, concept art or interviews with the writers. You want to start releasing that kind of content that gives the fan base that's an existing fan base something to hang their hat on. And then you also start releasing things that are new that talk about the story that will bring in new fans. So there'll be a two-pronged marketing approach here. Then you've got international, right? So I think there's no way you make an announcement like this unless you've got that marketing plan in place. Period. They have to. So
let me just say, Martin has said as much to us. He said they're not going to disappear. Now that the announcement's made, we're not going to go a year without hearing from him.
Yeah.
He told us he's got a stack of concept art that he's excited to get out there for fans to start to take a look at. I imagine concept art starts to come with a few plot details, maybe who's in the world, where we are in the galaxy. But yeah, he said as much. He wants to keep the lines of communication open with the fans and continue to share stuff with us as they go through that process.
Well, and let's also be super, super transparent about the fact that who's he got on his team, who we know for a fact is daily talking to Stargate fans, is Joe Mallozzi. So, and Joe's going to be obviously involved in a way here that they're not idiots. They have to know that you have to feed Joe good information. He's going to have his own work that he's doing that he can contribute and get out there and start to get the plot, all kinds of storyline conversations, or let's just say world building, right? Just that.
He's always been the party wagon in terms of.
That's right.
He's the one with the chocolate parties. He's the one like, come on over. He's the one who's expanding the tent, and that's what he does best socially. So it just makes sense to give him that task. So
well, and he'll hit just like we will hit existing fan bases.
Yes.
What I'm going to be fascinated to see is how do they go after a new fan base? So where, for instance, are you going to start to see paid media? I would hope that they would do it on something like Fandom, where you start doing paid media in sci-fi, fantasy, adventure wikis, or OTT, fast channels like the Roku or DirecTV sci-fi channels, that you would start to see dedicated paid media that reaches new fan bases, gaming, comics. I mean, there's so much out there to go after that I think, obviously YouTube, but you've also got some new distribution channels out there like Fable. You've got very interesting conversational interview distribution channels. Amazon's becoming very quickly an expert in this area of really knowing how to do international marketing across multiple avenues, as opposed to quote unquote the old standards and traditional. So I'll be really interested. And honestly, Safe House Pictures has done a great job at that too. If you look at Novacaine's marketing, I loved the movie. It didn't get as much play as it should have, but their marketing was brilliant. And they did a great job of tying into certain fan bases who followed the stars, things like that. I think one of the biggest announcements is going to be the cast announcements.
Yeah.
World building and concept art is going to be important to us. Right. New fans, sure, they'll be interested, but what's going to catch their attention to dedicate time to this is what's the story, who's in it? And that's what I'll be very interested to see what their timing is for that. I mean, the obvious would be San Diego Comic-Con, but I would imagine they do cast announcements prior to that.
I would hope that one of the two of them would be there, because by the next San Diego Comic-Con in 27, I would expect the first episode of this thing would be out by then.
Yeah, to go back, Darren and David, to your question, we talked about pre-production, production announcements, marketing. In terms of actual production, Amazon's pretty good at, once you make this announcement, it's usually within 12 months to 14 months.
The ball's really rolling. Yeah. And there's a spectrum. I know that a lot of fans watching are used to some of the bigger tentpole shows like Rings of Power and Fallout having long production cycles. We get 8 to 10 episodes every 2 years if we're lucky.
2.5. Yeah.
But then on the other end of that spectrum, I was telling David last week about Beacon 23, which was Plus show with Lena Headey, and they announced that thing and it was on in like 4 months, and they did 2 seasons within about 18 months.
How complex is it? Does it have a lot of visuals and things like that? Is it of the caliber?
Very character driven.
Well, I mean, in terms of visually, and in terms of post-production work, does it make sense that something like that could happen in 4 months? Or, was that, that was really fast for what I got on the screen there for that.
It's a little more scaled back, right?
Okay.
It's characters on a sort of distant space station, only 2 people on the space station. Visitors occasionally come on, but there's no like big epic sprawling battle of Asurus.
I do think that we're going to have, especially based on how giddy Brad was about the budget for VFX.
Giddy is the word.
It was so cute. It was so cute.
He was a kid in a candy store.
I mean, I loved seeing that because, again, you're talking about people who've been in this business for 30 years and they're still excited. That's what you want. I mean, you want people who are excited. The fact that Martin Garrow, who honestly right now had his choice of projects coming off Quantum Leap, coming off Blind Spot, coming off shoot, what was the other one? Breathe. Yeah, I mean,
Breathe,
he had his choice from what my understanding is of different projects, and he wanted to do this. Okay, that's just right there. That's amazing. That means he believes in what he's been told of how this is going to get to air, of how this is going to work, of how he trusts the process. He's very notoriously careful about who he hitches his wagon to
He's
to
not an
distribute.
idiot. Yeah.
No.
He knows what he's doing.
And he is, again, he is a creative director, a creatives writer, a creatives producer, someone who nurtures those relationships and keeps everybody very happy on set. So I think if there's going to be a really good combination, which please, I hope that's what this is, of the found family, sci-fi, fun, adventure, we have humor, but we have exploring some really interesting themes. This group is the one that's going to do it. I trust it. And so I just keep getting excited.
I was very encouraged to see Martin so excited, excited about the show, excited about coming back, but also confident about working with Amazon, because folks have their opinions about Amazon and their other shows. But I keep coming around to people who are worried about the location that the show is going to be and saying it's not really so much about the streamer or the network. It's about the creatives who are in charge. If you don't like a show, look at who's running it. Look at who's writing it. And this is Martin. And Martin Garrow knows Stargate, loves Stargate, is, as you say, at the top of his game. And I have so much confidence because he has confidence in going and pitching this show to Prime Video.
And also, and Amazon, look, let's be super, super honest about Amazon. It is a business. And it is more of a business than any of the other quote unquote studios, streamers, distribution channels in the entertainment industry right now. Yet, to be honest, it is much more supportive of creatives than Netflix is. It is much more supportive of story-driven lines than Netflix and others.
That sounds like such a non sequitur. Why do you think that is? Is it because they're not bogged down by all the historical baggage of going through project after project? They kind of like Apple in that regard, where it's like, look, we have like 3 years of stuff, behind us. Let's try something else. That's part of it. Okay.
Yeah, that's absolutely part of it. You've got a creative studios that separated itself right before COVID. So the internal machinations of the management aside, in 2017, 2018, Amazon Creative Studios became, in essence, an independent profit and loss within Amazon. The minute that happened, and that by Jen Salka, etc., that became a much more independent decision-making entity internally. And as long as it is, at the end of the day, making enough money that it doesn't freak everybody out on the board of directors, then they leave it alone. There are certainly some people in Amazon who are more bottom line driven, and then there are others who are much more creative. Steve Stark's still over there. There are a lot of people over there who are very creative. What encourages me, I keep coming back to, Nick Pepper did not lose his job through 2 rounds of changes. And I think that speaks very highly of him. That speaks very highly of their trust in him. The fact that Martin trusts Nick says a lot. And I think that we need to remember that Amazon is much more willing to stick out a show that is not necessarily a success right out of the gate than almost any other distributor or studio right now. And that's unusual.
Still waiting for season 2 of The Peripheral, though.
Pardon me?
I'm still waiting for season 2 of The Peripheral.
Oh, God. I mean,
Jonathan Nolan and Lisa Joy's show was renewed and then canceled.
I know. Yeah.
Frustrated by 2.5, 3 years between seasons. What realistically is the likelihood that if this thing is as big a success out of the gate, pardon the pun,
Never going to pardon that fun.
We hope it is. What is the likelihood that a season 2 could be expected 12 to 14 months after season 1 premiered? Or is that just not a thing anymore?
Oh, I think it's very high. I just don't think that this group would have signed on if it wasn't possible.
So those kinds of shows do exist now that have the kind of budgets that this one could hopefully have.
Well, it's interesting. The lower the budget, sorry for the dog, the lower the budget, the faster the turnaround. So if you've got an incredibly high budget like Rings of Power, that also has eyeballs on it, that also has levels of Tolkien estate, you've got way too many fingers in the pie on that one.
Lots of red pens that have to sign off on it.
Exactly. Let's go back to, and this is why, again, I have so much faith in this right now. And I mean, knock on wood, I hope I am not proven wrong, but they have Dean and Roland. They've got Brad, Joe, Martin. They've set this up for success because the people who they would have run afoul of are on board. So they came to you guys to make the announcement so they do not run afoul of the fan base. They're not stupid. They're handling this very, very carefully. The fact that he kept this secret for 18 months, and I went back and I scraped everything I could find. There was not one rumor about Martin. Well, there was one. I'm sorry, there was one rumor.
Really?
But yeah, but it was an in passing. We heard Martin was meeting with them. They reached out. It was a reached out to him rumor.
Well, that only makes sense.
Right. Yeah. It meant nothing. We already knew that they were talking to Brad. So
exactly.
Okay.
Why not? Yeah.
Why not? The fact that they've done that and they took 18 months to get here means that they're very aware of the pitfalls. They are very aware. And I don't know if you guys caught it, but in one of the quotes, they said they are prepared for multiple seasons. That means they've already prepped multiple story arcs. That means they've got this ready to go. There is no way that Brad and Joe would have signed on to something that they thought, especially having been through what they've been through with Travelers and Dark Matter and everything that they've been through, if they didn't think that this was going to be continued. And then secondly, Martin's got work to do. Safe House Pictures has work to do. They're not going to waste time doing a 2.5, 3 year in between each season. They don't have the money nor the time to do that. Again, go back, Darren, to your point. Look at the creative team. Look at the 18 months preparation that they've talked about. These guys have this as buttoned up as you possibly can be buttoned up for something like this.
What do you think is really going on here beneath the surface? Do you have a feeling that what has premiered in terms of a show that's going to be coming our way is one piece in a satellite or system of live action or perhaps animated or pieces of content? Or do you think that this is the only thing that they are planning at this stage and not really interested in anything else?
Amazon doesn't think linearly. Yeah, Amazon doesn't think linearly. They think multi-channel. So I don't know. I will say I'm a bit surprised based on some of the rumors that were circulating based on meetings internally. But I mean, there's always meetings. Like we've talked about before, there's always meetings. You can't bank anything on an internal marketing production meeting. I mean, it's like those happen all the time.
Yeah, you just get noise if you try.
Right. And they're literally internal pitch meetings. So, but I don't know, because I do know that there was, and this was during Jen Salka and she's gone, there was a real focus on doing a movie and then a series for a very long time. And I don't know if Martin was part of those conversations. So it is quite possible that that hasn't gone away. It's just they're starting with the series. And that they'll look at a movie. Amazon is very much the anti-Netflix when it comes to they want to get stuff into to theaters. They are very aware. And this just came out in an end of year, I think it was Parrot Analytics report, that when it goes into theaters, it increases your streaming, watch views, and actual purchases by anywhere from 20 to 38%.
Is it because more eyeballs are on it? Is that why something like that occurs? Oh, we lost her.
Looking frozen.
But she looks good. So there's that.
There's worse frames to get frozen on.
There is.
Jenny.
Jenny?
Jenny. Hey. Hey, wake up.
Your dog's adorable.
Okay, we'll
How's
get
it
her
going,
back.
buddy?
We'll get her back.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, she's saying if you take a movie and put it in theaters first, then the analytics are saying overall big picture when it comes to streaming on the whole, it just does better. You get that percentage more return on your investment if it's had a theatrical window.
It's probably had more eyeballs on it. Hang on. Hang on just jeez, dude. Just move your chair over for a minute until she comes back. I'm not going to realign the shot. There you go.
Don't you have a full screen on yourself?
Yes, but yes, I can do that, but then I'm Pete's sake.
Yeah, just toggle back and forth.
Yeah, to what?
You and me full screen.
I don't have you full screen. I have to reconfigure.
Oh, you don't have me on full screen?
No, I don't. I'm curious.
Yeah.
And this is just me talking out loud here because she can't. I'm wondering if the possibility that they're executive producers on this one, Dean Devlin and Roland Emmerich, because they may actually be doing a movie as well, and those guys are doing that.
They want to do something else. Wouldn't that be brilliant? Because we know Roland has wanted to do a movie for a long time.
And they could roll them together as a multiverse or as something else.
They could do, something, whether that movie is from the TV universe that Martin is now telling his story in.
That's right.
Or if they really do some kind of multiverse thing, which would blow my mind if they found some way to take those universes and pull them together.
That's right.
Here she comes.
Here she is. Hey, girl.
Sorry about that.
Can you rotate?
We lost. Oh, yeah. Sorry. We lost. Oops. Hello. Why is it not helping me?
Is your landscape locked?
Yeah, probably. Hold on. Sorry, we lost all internet connection.
Oh, you're kidding.
Internet dropped out?
Yep.
Okay, David will fix this up.
I'll fix this up. So we were just saying, Darren,
success.
go ahead.
We were talking about the success. You were telling us the when you give a project a theatrical window, it tends to have a better overall return. And we were then speculating on Dean and Roland. Maybe those guys are being brought in with an eye toward some sort of theatrical Stargate in the future that is connected to the TV universe that's building out. Or maybe
also the movie
really
universe.
Do some kind of combination of the movie universe and the TV universe so that they live together, if that's a multiverse or however they tell the story. So that it feels organic when then someone like a Roland Emmerich goes and makes a Stargate movie for Amazon.
And before you respond, Jenny, Dan Ben asks for us to clarify, what do you mean by stitching universes together? And I think that this applies to that because everyone assumes that the TV universe followed from the movie, which was how Children of the Gods was designed.
Right.
But you could make an argument that, Rick, Jack O'Neill with two L's really couldn't get his hair to stand up like that, So what's going on there?
Okay. All right. So two things. Sorry, I can't get it to center correctly. I'll try to do the best I can here.
You're fine.
So two things that I was trying to go for with that is that the stitching together is allowing both of these universes to exist in whatever the new storyline is.
Okay.
So what I would hope they would be doing, and that's where I was going, is, Darren and David, to your point, is that theatrically always boosts, ironically, streaming. And Netflix saw that with K-pop Demon Hunter, and Amazon saw it a long time ago, especially when they won some awards. Wow, I'm super close up.
If you could put the camera back where it was.
Yeah, sorry. I'm trying to get it to some place where I can actually, here, hold on. I'm just going to talk for a second.
Yeah, go ahead and talk to us. Yeah.
So,
did K-pop Demon Hunters have a theatrical window?
Yeah, it did not. And what they did was they released, it did not. And what they did was they released it as a sing-along musical and ended up making 20 some odd million or more in that release. And all of a sudden, Ted Sarandos is like, oh, okay, I get it. Maybe there is something to this. Let's release things theatrically. And so what ended up happening was and Amazon already knew that, because Amazon has released theatrically. It has won awards theatrically, been nominated for Oscars, the whole bit. So I think what ends up happening here is that there's no way that Amazon isn't thinking about isn't thinking about a multi-channel, multi-distribution package. They always do. Then on top of that, the fact that they have, and that was exactly where I was going to go, that they have Dean and Roland coming in is really interesting to me. I find that to be a now, it could be just something as simple as, we wanted to make sure they were involved. We wanted to make sure they knew about it. We wanted to make sure that we were talking with them because they are the originators. And so we want to do the right thing. It could be that simple. I believe that there's probably going to be, this is a guess, something that ties together, even if it's like Mobius, whatever it is that they do, that they tie together. I read that original script that Roland wrote in 2017. It tied to the TV universe.
How? Through Mobius?
Through Daniel.
How through Daniel?
So through Daniel. So
quantum mirroring or
multiverse kind of thing.
I can't talk about it, but
that's fair.
What it did was it allowed for both universes to exist.
Interesting. Okay. Wow. And clarify that they were separate. Okay.
And well, there were bridges, story bridges. And what I think that is indicative of is that there's a possibility that somewhere down the line, Amazon would like this to be a franchise that grows beyond just streaming. Amazon is currently leveraging MGM and its library to do exactly that across multiple franchises. Legally Blonde, obviously. Poltergeist is in pre-production development. They're looking to expand these franchises to be multi-channel franchises. So that means licensing and merchandising. That means streaming and theatrical. It means meeting the fans where they are at events. So I think that the world is their oyster, literally. I would not say that I don't know anything. These are educated guesses based on the fact that they've got the OG crowd together and the fact that Nick Pepper spent 18 months developing this very carefully. And that speaks a lot to a plan, a broader plan.
Okay. That's exactly what I want to hear, right? I want my franchise back, to be honest.
But I also don't want it, on 52 weeks a year.
Yeah, you don't want it diluted.
No.
You want to obviously keep the quality up and not burn out the audience.
Exactly right. I don't want 5 Stargate shows on at the same, but something
David,
definitely
I remember
every year.
Sitting in, you and I were sitting in Rob Cooper's office, I think after an interview had ended, or maybe it was during the interview, and there was this sort of jubilance about getting Stargate Worlds, the MMORPG, up and off the ground.
Yeah.
Because this was the point in 2007 or 8 where they were moving SG1 to direct-to-video movies.
Mm-hmm.
They were looking at wrapping Atlantis and moving it to regular, ongoing DVD movies. They were getting ready to launch SGU. So this was 2008 or 2009. And then Stargate Worlds, they were consulting, and Stargate Worlds' story was going to be canon to the Stargate universe.
Yes.
And so Brad and Rob talked about that as 4 pillars of the stool that kept the Stargate franchise steady and stable. And so as much as folks have spent the last 15 plus years saying, man, I really lament losing Stargate Atlantis. I really lament losing Stargate Universe and not getting the end of that story. What I felt deepest in the inner parts of me is losing the franchise. I was hopeful for
we lost the gate.
That window that some version of Stargate was going to be with us for 30 years.
That's right. That's right. And that's the whole reason I will give massive credit to Michael Brown for having vision at MGM to try to bring it back in 2015. And it was unfortunately a failed effort on all of our parts, but it wasn't for lack of trying to get together this exact crowd. It was definitely trying to keep the franchise alive. That was honestly the internal meeting. That's the internal meeting. And it was, what can we do to keep this franchise alive? MGM was smart enough to know that. They just didn't have the wherewithal to support it. So it is now they have the wherewithal to support it with Amazon. And MGM exists as its own, it hangs its own sign within Amazon. So it's still its own little mini independent studio. Think of Fox Searchlight when it was part of Fox, or Focus Features that's part of Universal. Jordan Peele's company, he's got a deal with Universal, but he's got his own production company. This is the same concept. MGM exists within Amazon Creative Studios as its own machine. It's got its own profit and loss. It's its own silo. What it is focused on is what it was bought for. I mean, not to go down this rabbit hole, but ultimately that's why, unfortunately, Barbara and her team sold Bond to Amazon, is that the entire reason, literally the entire reason, was to get the library and build upon those franchises, because that was not something Amazon had. And they knew that MGM was a jewel in the crown. They knew that. And it's not Warner Brothers, it's not Universal, we get it, but MGM is literally, and is described as this, as the little engine that could. And so it's got this library, regardless of what it got sold in the 80s. It still has this library that is amazing, and franchises that have right now existing fan bases. And that was what was most important to them, to Amazon, that these are existing fan bases that they can capitalize upon, that have pockets that will be willing to spend. Wow. And that's what it comes down to.
Ugly Pig, when Martin's new show is a huge success, when not if, Ugly Pig says, do you think,
I love that,
how likely is it that Amazon might be open to projects that tie up loose SGU ends? What is the likelihood that those satellite ideas would eventually find their way back around to addressing some things that's happened in the in-betweens of the years between the last
that's
active franchise
the question of, and that's the question of the hour, right? It is, I think that there are 2 options. So guys, I know that you want this to happen. I know that everybody would love to have all of these loose ends tied up. But I think that one of the big issues is that we've got Martin trying to serve many masters, basically. That's right. And so the easiest way to do that is to, sorry, hold on one second. TJ? Tim? Coyote in the front yard.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
He's probably looking for that Roadrunner.
He's looking for our dog.
Oh, Kenan's outside. Go get him.
Yeah. No. I mean, I don't. Ooh. Okay. Yeah. So I think what Martin needs to do potentially is a whole brand new story, because the problem is that if he's only doing, and I don't mean this as a derogatory term, but if they're only doing fan service.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not paying attention to the story. That is not to say that those aren't good stories. I want to be super careful. As someone who does this for a living, I mean, my title is fandom development and business development. I am hardcore about the fans. I do not see anything wrong with fan service if it serves the story. The problem is if you're doing a fan service end to something or to tie up a loose end just to help the fans, that's problematic if you haven't deeply rooted it in the story. I think that if we go back to this is the second point, what we were talking about earlier, that they're looking at the full franchise. I think there are opportunities to finish those stories in other ways. It could be something as simple, and I can't remember, one of you guys mentioned this the other day on the show. It could be something as simple as an off-camera, we ran into Eli and he got home safe. I mean, I'm being very flip, but there are many ways to resolve these stories that would not necessarily make us thrilled, but at least it would tie it up in a way that serves the current story. He's very clear this is not a reboot. So obviously this is, and the word they've kept using, even Nick used it, was continuation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe that leaves it open. Yeah, I do believe it leaves the door open. I don't think any of us should speculate about anything when it comes to that and have any expectations one way or another. I know that's really hard.
That's just, I just wanted to air those feelings so that they don't continue to fester under moist sheets.
No.
Yeah,
definitely. We should talk about it. I just want to make sure that we're mitigating our expectations about it. I think, you know me, I'm always going to want to be transparent about what are the issues that the fans are most concerned about. I think that there's a legion of things that fans have questions about, which is, where are all these characters now? What's going to be considered canon? Are we going to acknowledge Carter's promotions? Are we going, all of those things are very important questions. I keep going back to Martin spent 18 months putting this package together, putting this team together. There's no way that he brought Brad and Joe on, outside of Rob, the architects of all three shows, if it wasn't to ensure that the storyline and the world building he's creating ties nicely and correctly in canon. It may answer canon questions we've had, which would be amazing. I mean, that would be so cool.
Eventually happen.
That would be really cool. I would love that. And I think we keep hope up. I think we are, unfortunately, I think we are cynical enough as a fan base to know that there are things that we will not see, whatever those are. I don't know what those are. I'm just saying we know that that's going to happen. We're not going to make everybody happy.
Right. Here's the thing. If before you continue, Darren, I asked a poll in the live chat, and it was, at the end of the day, what's more important to you, a new story or tying up loose ends? Jenny, what do you think? What do you think the majority was?
I hope it was new story.
61% currently. And in my opinion, it is because we already have the knowledge in place that it's within the same, I don't want to say universe, because they're very, we have to be very particular about our wording. It's what's in the past is in the past and happened. What happened, happened. Right. Having said that, 64% now is a new story. People are willing to, when the rubber meets the road, that is the most important thing to the majority of them.
Right.
While the other one still is as well, they're willing to let Martin take their hand and try something new. I mean, I feel like we're talking about like a new piece, a handicap device that we're going to be using for the rest of our lives. It's a TV show. We have to put this thing into its proper perspective.
Pretend it was 2011, guys, and Martin takes over as executive producer and writer, and this is the next franchise series. That's where we are. So if it was 2011 and that's what was happening, and the direct-to-video Redemption Atlantis movie happened, and we're moving on, and we are within canon. I think that's the part that's, and sorry, Darren, I know you wanted to say something. We're within canon, and I think we stick with that. We trust Martin. I have to be honest, having been in this business for a long time, I don't trust the process. I think that is a stupid ass phrase, because the process is constantly changing. And the process depends very deeply on who is part of that process. Who are the movers, the shakers, the writers? I trust this team.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line.
Yeah, that's a great point. What I was going to say was I'm so glad that you went there in terms of bringing up this dynamic between having a reboot and having a continuation. I'm actually making my video this week on this exact topic because I think it's neither. Continuation only in the sense that we're returning to the same universe. Same characters in it. Hopefully we're going to get a General Carter. Hopefully we're going to get a Dr. K. Maybe a reference to, we were working on this project with Eli Wallace last month.
Right.
That's all, right? That's the hint that Eli's alive.
Which implies that he's okay. The whole point of this, I think...
But it's Martin's story, right?
Right.
It's a new story. And I think there's a chance. So you're saying there's a chance that if the franchise has room to grow... then there's space, right? Especially with Brad and Joe on board as well. There's space for maybe that story gets told another way, another time.
Yeah, here's the thing.
Is Brad's story, Brad and Rob's story, maybe that gets told in live action or animation or some other format in another place, in another time. This helps to make that possible. But Martin's show is not that.
And if I am to be impartial, thinking of that.
Yeah.
I am not as important to this franchise as the 8-year-old who's going to watch Martin's show.
Absolutely.
I am not.
No,
now,
we're not.
I have the same value as a human being. That's not what I'm talking about. In terms of the life expectancy and the capacity for future ambulatory movement of this franchise,
right,
you got to consider the 8-year-old little girl, the 8-year-old little boy who's watching this. They are more important than we are, and we're looking at that with, it's me,
yeah.
And we know we are here. We have 309 people here right now who are here because they've been affected by the stories that have come before.
Well,
those kids deserve those stories.
Yeah, and I think what we talked about early on, and you two have talked about this as well. There are 300,000 active fans right now, digitally, in this world. 300,000, that's a lot. Yeah. I mean, that's more than some shows get right now.
Yeah.
There are 1.2 to 1.3 million reached, meaning they're not active, but they're there. They would come back.
And isn't that estimate a few years old too?
No, that's actually of 6 months ago.
Well, Prime Video's premiere video is up over 1 million now when you combine the 3 instances of it.
Much more than.
The reason that those numbers are accurate, in fact, there were some estimates at 1.9 million. I would not go there, but it's because of the repeats and where it's being played. So Amazon, and this is something we should talk about. Amazon knew 18 months ago that this was possible. So MGM, when it was purchased, had up to 5 to 7 year contracts that they had to fulfill worldwide with its content, not just Stargate, but with all content. Well, that's up now. And I don't know if you've noticed, but Stargate is in a lot of places. It's not just on one distribution channel. It's on fast channels, it's on Comet, it's on Pluto, there's a lot of places. And I think that was a very deliberate play. Again, remember, these guys think very long term. And the president of distribution is Chris Ottinger, who was president of MGM. So you think about the very long-term planning that's going on here of, okay, we know there's this fan base, but it's plateaued. Let's get Stargate back out there. Let's get it on as many platforms. It's also playing internationally in places it never did. So what they did was they renegotiated international contracts and got it out there. That's very long-term thinking. And this was probably starting in 23, 24, because I think most of those were up in 23 and 24, the existing contracts. So they knew that this was coming down the pike. So now you've got it out there and you're getting new fans as well as re-energizing existing fans. Then I will guarantee you that while they didn't come to you guys 6 months ago, that they were talking about you 6 months ago. This is who we need to go to. This is the marketing plan. This is who we need to court. Great. Now that's your core. So when you're talking about, nobody talks about marketing quadrants anymore, but when you're talking about your marketing concentric circles, you have your core audience, which is us, right? The original audience. Then you have that next concentric circle out, which is my kid generation, because I showed it to them and they're engaged. Then you have that next concentric circle out, which is they just discovered it via fast channels, via Comet, Pluto, whatever it was. Then there's that farthest one out, which is brand new fans who don't know Stargate from a hole in the wall. And that's who Amazon wants to go.
That's
and that
exactly
is
right, as they should.
And if that's an 18 to 34 demographic. As much as you and I would love for it to be the 8-year-old girl, because trust me, I would love to have that 8-year-old girl watching this, the demographic they're going after is 18 to 34. And male and female, but they are going to hardcore press for that, which means you're going to see advertising and paid media for that. Now they may go 25 to 44 because that's got deeper pockets in an economy that is pushing it right now. You know, my son is 23. He does not have luxury money to spend on a subscription for Prime Video. So that's going to be, you know, their internal research and data analysts are top of the game in this industry. We go to Amazon to get their numbers. So when they're looking at who's going to spend the money for a Prime Video subscription, I'm going to be very interested to see what kind of packages they offer with Stargate. I'm guessing that they're going to say, get the first with this, not just the 7-day free trial, but we'll give you this. Or they might come to existing fan base and say that. And I want to watch and see what have they done? What are they doing to engage that existing core base differently from engaging the new 25 to 44 audience that they want to go after. I'm going to be fascinated to see how are they marketing differently? What are they doing? And then you've got 240 countries.
We see on the YouTube backend, right? We get demographics on who's watching these videos that we're posting, and all the new stuff that's hitting last week. I'm noticing in Gateworld's demographics that it's no surprise, it's the existing fans. A lot of us who have been around the block a few times.
Sure.
It's
we're the ones who've had our ears on the ground. The rest of us are finding out now.
Age 35 to 64 is the largest chunk of the audience that's watched those videos so far. So it makes complete sense, of course, that they need a new audience that's bigger. They're going to go after that audience. They're going to market to 25 to 34-year-olds differently, 18 to 34-year-olds differently. And it's got to happen. I think Stargate fans who are excited about getting some of those questions answered, seeing some familiar faces again, we got to realize the new audience is it. The new audience is kind of the whole ball game, because I love fan service. I loved Picard season 3. Now, I also thought it was a great story that was very well told, but I'm in for the fan service. But you know what? If we get a show from Martin that is just fan service, it's just wall to wall,
it's going to die.
Us,
it'll die.
Guess what that is? That's a canceled
You
show.
can't expect people to go and watch 354 stories. You just can't. But if this thing is successful, SGU Distant Hope, Jenny, would it increase the likelihood of something like a proper digital restoration of Stargate SG1? You know, based on the content. I know a lot of it was shot in Super 16 and such like that, but you know, it's some parts of that upres in some sections, it's a mess. I mean,
well, you and I went through that. We went through the trenches on that because we were working with them on that at the time when all of that happened. And I was at Fox when we did the original upres. I was at MGM when we did the second round. So a couple of things. I think that would make a huge difference for existing fans.
Correct.
I think it would make a huge difference for distribution channels that require a certain amount of
quality, fidelity.
Yes. Especially when you're looking at Asia. So when we're looking at Japan, Stargate had an enormous audience in Japan and South Korea and Brazil in Latin America when I was doing international for it.
I lived in Asia. I never met one Stargate fan, but I'll take your word for it.
Well,
So.
It was hilarious because it dropped like a rock. So we had probably 1.3, something like that, rating in Japan and South Korea, which is huge.
That's good for Japan.
Combined.
Okay.
So we're talking, Japan, South Korea, Philippines, that include everything. But that's pretty huge for Asia. The minute that SGU happened, boop, it was gone. So it wasn't going to appeal at the time to that audience. Latin America held on for quite a while. Brazil held on, Mexico held on. I think in Asia particularly, unless we're creating and providing a quality value, literally, in the technology, I think it's a hard sell. Now, I do know it's distributing in Japan right now, and it's definitely distributing in Brazil and Mexico, but I'm not sure that does anything for new fans particularly. I think, honestly, if I had my druthers, what I would love to see is for them to be doing supplemental material to appeal to 18 to 45-year-olds. Do supplemental material that gives the backstory, that gets it out there so you don't have to watch 300 and some odd episodes. As much as I love doing it, we're not going to get these guys to do it. When you look at the rise, and we can all debate microdramas, whether they're good or not, but when you look at the rise in Asia of microdramas and in Mexico of microdramas, do a recap that's a microdrama. 70 minutes total. It's in the 3 to 6 months leading up to Stargate, and you've just captured in 4K on mobile, you've just captured an audience who knew nothing about you. I think that's how we're going to get that audience. The existing fan base, we need to do better by this existing fan base, and it is obvious that they know that because they came to you guys first. They kept this secret. They didn't talk to anybody new. They didn't even go to some of these super high-end geek outlets that are on YouTube. They went to you guys, which means they know the value of the existing audience. They know the value of the existing fan base. Nothing happens. You have to leverage this fan base. Nothing happens next. You can't even get to a new fan base if we're not out there evangelizing.
It's true. Yeah. I love EMV. Since we're on the subject, at some point we were, Jenny, how involved do you think Brad and Joe will be as consulting producers? Do you think there's a likelihood of any actual writing?
Well, I think Joe will be very involved. I don't know, and if I did, I couldn't talk about it. But
Fair.
I think Joe will be very involved. I think Brad will be a creative consultant. I think what's going to happen is the same as what was being pitched in 2021-22, which is that Brad would be brought in as a creative consultant to make sure that the canon is accurate, to make sure that the storylines. But again, these two trust Martin. So that's the other thing. Remember, the super cool thing I keep looping back to here is this is a guy who knows the canon inside out and backwards. I mean, he literally started as a script supervisor. This is amazing. This is a guy who grew up doing this on Stargate.
He did. Yeah.
When I first met him, I mean, this makes me feel
we were all kids.
He was a baby.
Yeah.
And the thing is that he grew up in this canon. So Brad and Joe fully 100% trust him. So I think Brad would be a creative consultant. He may contribute story ideas. Who knows? Brad's extraordinarily prolific. It may be that he had story ideas that were just banked and waiting to go. I would bet dollars to donuts that Joe will be involved in a writer's room. I just don't think you bring on Joe unless you're going to actually use that brain of his. It's just not worth it. Why would you bring him on to just be a creative consultant for writing? I don't know what that would be. I have no idea, but this is educated guess. Basically my entire interaction so far has just been to say, oh my God, I'm so excited. And them saying, yay. So I don't know anything. I would say that if they were smart, they would leverage Joe for sure. And remember, Joe and Brad were Martin's mentors.
That's right.
Literally. So I would guess, just like I would love to bring on some of my mentors in a big project that I get handed, that I would bet that they have not day-to-day involvement, but story development maybe, or canon development, marketing for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
I could see Joe with marketing ideas, definitely. But how they're involved on a day-to-day basis, I doubt it's a lot, because they've got their own projects that are ongoing.
Okay.
I could
And they're
see them
listed as
potentially
consultants. So
I could see them potentially in a writer's room, because I know that in some of the later seasons of Stargate's production, Brad, for example, did not write a ton of scripts, but he was
Right.
in the writer's room, and
That's
he was
true.
an important part of those guys spinning
Yeah.
stories around the table and figuring out, okay, you're going to go run with this one.
Right. And one of the things that we talked about a lot, you guys, during Stargate Command, is really sharing with fans about what happened behind the scenes for production. And that was one of the most fun things I think we did, was really talking with fans about how does production work, breaking stories, how does that writer's room. And Joe was a huge part of that, is that he really pulled back the curtain to show how are these stories done. And one of the places I could see the two of them really contributing is story development, breaking stories in a writer's room. They're not writing the scripts, but they're helping to make sure that the story development is in canon.
Okay. Well, there you go. I want to take a pause from Stargate for a second. Jenny, I would like to bring in somebody. Let me go ahead. I let her know, but then I realized that I don't have her I don't have her cell phone number. So we may be just falling right into her here.
Oh shoot. Okay, you want me to text her?
No, I see her on the screen. SG.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you? How's everyone doing?
Very good. Darren, have you met SG?
No.
So
wait, you
Nice
have?
to meet you.
Oh my gosh, I thought you guys met. Sorry,
probably not.
my bad.
Well, introduce her. Who am I looking at here?
So, Darren, please meet my amazing author and client and sci-fi fantasy franchise guru for me, SG Blaise. SG, please meet Darren Sumner, who is the founder of Gate World, which, as you know, the leading Stargate fan network in the world.
Yep.
And I thought for sure I'd introduce you guys. So, Darren, SG, Darren.
Pleasure to meet you, Darren.
Very
and thank
nice
you,
to meet you.
David, for having me.
Absolutely. So, Jenny, you've been a part of this project for so long now. You've been a part of Stargate, and this is what your main bread and butter is right now, working with SG. And I wanted, before we left, to give everyone a chance to know what it is that you guys are working on right now, because tonally, it's exactly the same as Stargate. It's just, and I'd also like SG to talk about this, it just happens to be like one house over in the fantasy space. Can we talk a little bit about Last Lumenian and that whole franchise that you guys are building together before we go back to Stargate?
Well, the reason, and thank you so much for all of this, but the reason I joined with SG is that, as most of this audience knows, because I talk about this all the time, is that in my business, being a huge geek and being in the sci-fi space, I have always wanted to build an IP from scratch. Always, always, always. And I was absolutely privileged to be introduced to SG 2 years ago. 2 years, SG, 2 years.
Yeah.
And it was instant love. Her writing the franchise, and she will get more into that, is everything I love about Stargate. And not just that, but SG is everything I love about this business, is that cares about the fan base. Number one. Number two, she cares about the creative process. She cares about the story. What's our story? So I get to be business development and marketing for a new IP to grow this whole franchise, which is, oh my God, I pinch myself every morning. So
wow. So
yeah.
I want everyone to know a little bit about this franchise. And SG, you are a Stargate fan as well. Can you tell us where these two overlap in terms of tone, and where Stargate fans can see themselves in these characters? And I'm gonna pull up some of those details while we're talking about it.
David, what I love about Stargate is the found family, is the rebellion against oppression, is protecting the innocent. And these values are reflecting in my own writing and in my own stories. I've been inspired by Stargate so much. And it's such a pleasure to take that excitement, take that fun with me and put it into my books so that my readers can experience it. It truly is a pleasure.
What do you think? Well, you know what? I gotta talk about this real quick. My video screen is all over the place, guys. This is what comes from me being a person who has to do it manually. You have been working on this thing now for 6 years, 7 years since the first book came out. How long has it been going on for you?
So the original time I started in 2013.
Okay.
And what's visible for the fans is since 2020, so about 5, 6 years now.
Okay.
The books are out. And it is a magical journey. Every time I think I reach the point when it's the ending, it's always a new beginning, which ties back to Stargate. Just as you think you defeated the last bad one, there is always someone bigger on the horizon.
Yeah, you've kicked. Who is it in the bar in The Simpsons? Who's always there? Barney out, and he's right behind you. You can't get rid of the guy. So. Yeah. Who is your heroine, SG, in this series? Who is the last Lumenian?
The last Lumenian is a 19-year-old rebel princess who is sassy. She doesn't quite fit in this whole place, and she's looking to find where she belongs and what is her true goal. And as she does this, of course, there is a war between two gods, and she must choose a side and build her allies to fight this undefeatable god. And throughout all these stories, she meets amazing people. She's building her own family with these friends who become more than just generals in this brutal war.
I cannot help but think of Vala when I read about Leela. I think that she's a little bit more noble than Vala is, but there is this in reading the characters and bringing them to life. And I apologize, Stargate fans, but I really want you guys to hear about this. It's like the script was copied and pasted out of conversations between Daniel and Vala. It's that energy of, oh, I hate you, but I need you, so I can't get rid of you, you know? And it's like, okay, I really don't hate you after all, but you know what? You still drive me nuts. It's this nipping at heels in these characters that it makes it so much fun to read, because the truth of the matter is they really do love each other an awful lot. But gosh, like any family, it's like, you know what? You're just too much for me sometimes. And you know, they're great reads.
Wait till you read the sixth book coming out, because the sixth book has a lot of that. Guys, the thing that is, I think, amazing about this whole series is that it's not just the books, that we have comics and animation, and there's a universe, there's a world building. And one of the, you all know, I'm a world building freak. And, you know, the ridiculous amount of art I don't even have out of concept art and things that David and I looked at from James and all those guys. Mm-hmm. SG has put together a world that is conceptually genuinely a subgenre of sci-fi fantasy. Exactly. It is not 100% military sci-fi. It is not high fantasy. It is genuinely right up the middle. And it's got action, adventure, and the whole bit. And what's really cool about it is there's all these things for whoever you are, there's been this arc over the past 6 books and into the animation where it's watching her grow, but it's watching all of the people and her friends and found family that she's pulled together grow as well.
Up with her. That's right.
And SG, you don't give yourself enough credit. She's really funny. And that's the part that I love, is that there's the humor, which how many times have we been asked in polls, what is it about Stargate that probably made it stand out so much against other shows? Right. And it was being able to have the found family and humor.
But it's not campy. And this isn't campy. Yeah, no. This finds itself straddling exactly that line, which is why
that's right.
it's so related to Stargate in that way because tonally they're mirror images of each other. Just one leans a little bit more into fantasy and the other military fantasy. So it's right up that alley, guys. And if
there's magic, if you like magic, there's magic.
Absolutely. SG, just how many books do you have planned? So number 6 comes out in March. How far are you going with this with the book series? And I know you're planning on exploring in different mediums, but how many books really are there going to be?
Hundreds. If it's up
oh my
to
gosh,
me, David. I will write on my deathbed and not stop until I tell every single story. The last Lumenian series right now is 13 books. And I just started working on book 7, which is very exciting. I can't wait to share with you. And there's going to be other book series following it up. In fact, I'm structuring this whole world, the 7 Galaxies Chronicles, into multiple collections. Right now, we're in the collection of the Age of the Archgods. And that has all the comic books, the animations, and all these sub-stories that allows the readers to dive into it and explore. But that's not all. I'm setting up the Easter eggs and little clues for the next one, which I'm not allowed to reveal.
No,
they will kill me if I do.
Yeah, no.
It's going to be a lot to explore. Yeah, all right, I know, zip it. There's going to be a lot to explore, and I definitely took that from Stargate, that there are so many worlds and universes and opponents out there that you're just scratching the surface. And that is such an exciting feeling and truly takes you away from the real life that can be brutal sometimes.
You have to be able to escape. At SG, I really appreciate you coming on and talking about Lila and your 7 Galaxies franchise, because Jenny is very important to us. And any way that we can support her and whatever endeavors she is embarking on next, I really wanted to give her an opportunity, regardless of whether it was associated in any way with Stargate or not, for her to have a chance and let people know what it is that she's up to next, because we have all leaned on her so much for everything that has come over these past 5 years on this channel, and I personally far further back than that. But Jenny, you have a huge audience here who is going to follow you. A huge percentage of these people will follow you wherever you go, and I can't wait to see where you and SG go together with this thing.
It's going to be so much fun. It's going to be so much fun. I have one announcement. So we have an animated short coming out connected to the universe, and it's going to come out in March. And
really?
Yeah. And Chris Judge is one of our voiceovers.
Wow.
So he just an absolute doll. He's met SG. SG, who's this huge Stargate fan, gets to direct Chris Judge on a voiceover. I got a great picture. Cool. I'll share it with you guys. I'll share the picture with you guys. It is amazing. And
wow, that's
congratulations.
That's really cool.
Thank you. We love him, and he's just an amazing man, as you guys know. And just as a family friend, he's just such an amazing person. And we just kind of on a lark, I just said, hey, I'm working with this new IP, and he read it and he loved it. So
wow,
what
a coup for you, SG. You've got Teal'c and Kratos.
I can't believe it. It's a dream I didn't know I had. You try to dream big. I like to say space is the limit, but there are things you can't even imagine, because when they happen, they're so special and organic that you better hold on tight and see where it takes you.
Well, this guy, so did you meet him in person?
Oh, virtually, in person,
well,
virtually.
When you meet him in person, you'll realize just how much he cannot be ignored, because he is a whirlwind of nature and of joy. And the fact that he's on board in any way in this series, that's really cool, guys. That's great.
Yeah. It's really cool.
SG, thank you so much for stopping by. We really appreciate having you. You've come on once before, but I really just wanted to give everyone a chance to see who Jenny is partnered up with, because this series, the State of the Gate series, it's not mine, it's hers. And it's she means so much to all of us in fandom. And please take good care of her, because we are going to want her back soon for something else. Not necessarily this, but Jenny, you will have work to do in Stargate
She
fandom.
wants me till I'm 120, so I don't know.
There we go.
That's just I've already talked about. I have to be 120, so
Oh,
Well, that's the goal. We're not stopping it, David. We have so many IPs to develop. We all need her.
There you go. Exactly. I need her to
Wow,
cry into
I'm
my
bright red.
Cheerios in front of. So
Thank you.
some of these.
Thank you.
Thank you, SG. We really
Thank you,
appreciate you
David.
stopping by. You be well.
Bye,
Thank
babe.
you.
Jenny,
Bye.
it is just so cool, all the stuff that you're working on.
It's really amazing. I mean, honestly, it is. I do genuinely pinch myself that
Right?
I am part of something that I've always dreamed about doing, which is to build an IP from scratch.
That's
And
right. I know how much you've been wanting to do this. That's why I had to have her on, especially on this last one here.
It's
'Cause
just,
I knew how
it's
much
amazing.
she means to both of us. She means a lot to both of us.
She means
She's
a lot.
wonderful human being.
You don't, let alone having that happen once in your life. And I have had that happen in my life, working on Stargate, working on Buffy, that to have something like this happen at this stage of my career where I could just be consulting and, having fun doing that, to have something like this, honestly, it is a joy. She's a joy to work with. And that comes through in the content. And you and Darren have asked me this. I thought about this a lot over the weekend, thinking about talking about Stargate, that what keeps us going is the joy that it brings.
That's it.
And
Christopher would be the first person to say that that's the key as well.
That's the key. And it is very hard in this world to find joy. And it is very hard to find joy in your job. And that I get to do that is amazing. And I count my blessings absolutely for this. I do not take it for granted. And a huge part of that is you guys. And I don't mean the fan base. I mean you, David, you, Darren, everybody here that I know that's out there in the audience, everybody that I meet every time. The joy that Stargate brings every single time that I do anything about Stargate, it is unbelievable gift. And that is 100% due to, hopefully, this exact team that's bringing the next round. So
absolutely.
We hope.
Exactly.
We hope.
How much more time do you have?
Me?
Yeah.
What time is it?
It is 10:37.
I got 20 minutes.
Okay, perfect. Can you differentiate for us here, Mr. N. Bridger? What power does an executive producer have over a showrunner, over a... So showrunner is head honcho, right? There's like CEO, right. Yes?
Yeah.
But executive producer is like a step and a half down?
Well, no. Usually executive producer is usually money.
Okay.
So in any film, TV is very different. In any film, an executive producer is usually the money or the person who put the team together, the person who got the production, the director, the writer, okay?
Okay.
Your producer is also the person who went and got additional financing. The producer is the person who is really doing the day-to-day work of getting the production team, doing location management, hires everybody that goes and does all that work. If you have multiple producers, which you usually do, especially nowadays, multiple exec and producers, if you have multiple executive producers, they are usually money. In this case, however, and in television, streaming, a lot of times it's someone who has gotten control of that particular franchise storytelling. And a perfect example is Diego Luna is an executive producer of Andor. The reason he is that he was given executive producer credit because he was contributing to the storyline, contributing to the story development. So an executive producer is a bit amorphous. It can be the person who's giving money. It can be in streaming. It can be a person who is now contributing to the direction of the arc of the franchise. Your producer is your boots on the ground people. The producers are the people. You might have 10 producers, but every single one of them is doing something that is tied to money, tied to management, tied to getting it out the door, tied to getting it post-production. Producers are your boots on the ground workers. Okay. Showrunners literally tie all of that together. So when Martin has writer, producer, and showrunner, credit, that means as a producer, he's making decisions. He gets to make decisions about this show. Sometimes you're a showrunner, and what you're doing is you are running the show. You are getting your scripts out. You're making sure everybody's on time. You're making sure that it follows the story development, but you don't necessarily make decisions when it comes to higher up. When you're a producer and a showrunner, you're making the decisions as well. And that's why when I say Martin has control, this is control that you don't often see as the writer, the producer, and then the showrunner. That's really encouraging.
Wow. Okay.
He's behind the scenes writing and actually running this series. He will be there every single day. A showrunner has to be there on set. A showrunner has to make sure that every single department and division is working seamlessly. And if they aren't, then they go to the producer, which in this case is himself, to problem solve.
Okay. And Arixos 4362, what is consulting producer then? Would they have any decision-making power or just give advice on what works?
They give advice.
Okay.
They give advice. So what they're doing is a consulting producer, a consulting writer, a consulting executive producer is there. Let's use Brad as the perfect example. He's there to make sure that everything stays in canon. He's there to make sure that there aren't these wild hair theories that don't connect back to the universe we know. Same with Dean and Roland. If there's any reference, which is again why I think that there might be, they're there to make sure that it stays in canon to what they're doing. They also, and Brad and Joe's different, but in Brad's case, they may be making recommendations and consulting on VFX. They might be making recommendations on the prop building, the ships, the concept art, because he was there from the very beginning. Martin knows it, but if he brought in Brad as a consulting executive producer, then he wants to have somebody there to bounce this off of, to make sure that he's in the right house, in the right space.
Okay, got it.
So they become resources to Martin and the production team where they can write, maybe they get a new visual effect in and he can send it to Brad and say, hey, does this Hatak look right to you?
Yes, exactly. And I would
Hatak
assume...
looks funny, man. I don't know. It's a little too pointy.
And I want to say I want to say Jonathan Glassner was a consulting producer on part of season 4 after he left the show.
Yes, he was.
He was. Yeah. And a lot of that is exactly what he did. And it is I find this incredibly encouraging because it means that what they're having as their board of advisors is to keep watch and make sure that these things stay on canon, stay within the universe, makes sense. I mean, honestly, they're there to make sure it makes sense.
Okay. Sokar the Devil 666. Very, very.
That's a great
joyous
handle.
and friendly. Couldn't SGU? Oh, I apologize. Sokar the Devil. You are the devil, though. Andrew, SGU could be continued in some point in the future. He was asking if it could be. Of course it could be, right? Yes. Yeah. Andrew Charles, illustration. One big thing I'm worried about is that we get 1 or 2 seasons of this thing, and then it gets cut.
Yeah.
And we have another unfinished story to deal with. At this stage, do you think it's more likely, and I want to be careful how we word this because I don't want anyone to get too cozy, that Stargate is probably too big to be canceled right now, considering the momentum that we've seen so far, or is it just as likely to be on the chopping block if anything else is?
No, I wish I could say that, but we just saw a whole slew of cancellations come through for existing IP and franchises that you didn't think were going to be canceled at all. So I think that I got to go back to the fact that if this was a 6-month or just this year plan, I'd be concerned because I think that a completely separate conversation, and we should talk about this in a separate one, is the state of the entertainment industry is in massive flux right now. And every single solitary traditional at this end of the spectrum, studio, streamer, and of course, Netflix, Amazon, and Facebook would all like to pretend that they're still the rebels. They're not. They're traditional now.
That's true.
They're not really controlling the narrative. And what's really controlling the narrative is the content creators that are you guys, but it's a whole slew of people. It's Dude Perfect building $100 million studio in Texas. It's Robert Rodriguez and Matthew McConaughey, Gen Xers, right? Old school, building a brand new digital studio for Gen Zers to come in and create new content and storylines to distribute. It's Crunchyroll working with Webtoons. There's a lot going on right now in this space, in the industry, that makes those traditional risk averse. The fact that Amazon, and I know this is going to sound counterintuitive, but the fact that Amazon spent 18 months on this and took that time indicates to me that they are not risk averse when it comes to Stargate. That's the encouraging part. I'm hoping that they look for alternative distribution channels. Like I said, that they look for supplemental ways to support this franchise, not just via Amazon Prime. There is, unfortunately, in this industry, no way that there's a guarantee. You could have a guarantee for 3 seasons and still be canceled.
Yeah.
You could have a guarantee for 2 seasons and be canceled. Now, if we were on Netflix, I'd be worried. They are notorious for 2 and out. Amazon's not. Amazon, for all of its problems, for all of its creative challenges in this industry, it does stick to something if they feel that there is an audience there that wants it. They will give it another try. They'll take a break for 3 months. They'll have internal conversations. You know, I wish that, I've always said this, you guys know this because you were there with me. I wish MGM had been more transparent about the conversations that were happening internally, because I think fans would understand why things went the way they did.
That's right.
I wish that Nick Pepper and those guys would have more transparency about those conversations they're having, because we know they're having these conversations. They are incredibly smart people. Again, Nick Pepper is someone who supports creatives. He supports the stories. So I don't think that this is something that is going to be taken lightly. That's the encouraging part. But there are no guarantees because of the nature of the industry right now. And I think of everybody, Amazon is the one that probably has the most solidified base. Financially is what I'm talking about. And management, they're happy with who they have in charge now of creative studios. Where when we're looking at other studios that will not be named, who are in a massive state of flux, I think that they're probably the best bet. If we were going to go with anybody, I'm very happy it's with them.
Okay. Last question for you, Lockwatcher. If we're not subscribed to Amazon Prime now, would it be a good idea that we were?
Yes and no. If you subscribe, then watch the hell out of whenever Stargate is on Prime Video. Chances are that they will start bringing back everything all the time, as opposed to what they've been doing recently is weird windowing releases in territories across the world.
Yeah, why is that?
That all goes back to international contracts that they had to fulfill.
Oh, contracts. Yeah. Okay.
They had to fulfill licensing contracts for international, and there's just, that's the way it is. But
it's a TV series, not a yo-yo.
I don't want people to spend their money on something. Exactly. I don't want people to spend their money on something. We are all in a tight economy right now. Yeah. I would say if it's too tight, then the best thing you can do is show your support and literally go online and social. And I know I've said this all the time, but please believe me when I tell you, of all of the major studios, Amazon pays the most attention to social.
Good.
The rest of them, honestly, they have, Disney does, but that's more about their own control issues than because they care. Amazon pays attention, and Amazon Creative Studios has an entire division that pays attention to this.
Wow.
So I would say if you can't afford it right now, go online and say, I support Stargate. I can't afford a subscription right now, but oh my God, I'm here for it when it comes out. Let me know what I can do. And tag them over and over and over again, because it really is always important. I know that this was a marathon and not the sprint we had hoped it would be. But guys, the only reason this is happening, genuinely, the only reason this is happening is because this 300,000 base kept this alive online. Period. There's no reason for this to come back. The conversations that I was part of when Amazon was buying MGM, there was a lot of skepticism internally at Amazon if Stargate was really going to have a fan base. They were focused on Legally Blonde and Poltergeist and RoboCop and all of this, and it came up a lot, but it was because of people like Chris Ottinger and Michael Wright who kept saying, I think you're ignoring kind of a amazing jewel in our crown here.
Right.
And Amazon, 180-degree turn from skepticism to commitment. That means they paid attention to everybody that was online talking about this all the time.
And rewatching.
Exactly. Look, guys, even if you're not watching it on Prime Video, if you're watching it on Comet, on Pluto, remember, those licensing monies still go back to Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have to watch it on free ad-supported television, a fast channel, do it. That's what you're going to do, because they watch those numbers. So if we increase watching these numbers going into this, and then we bang it out of the park that first season, I'm going to say something that's horrible. Even if we hate it, if we bang those numbers out of the park, it makes a huge difference. We all know that the pilot, the first couple of episodes, not necessarily always perfect for what we were looking for. Right. We're not worried about that. We're worried about the bigger picture. Right. We really want to look at the bigger picture.
We're looking at the gate.
Yep. We're looking at, I didn't even know what I was doing. Looking at the gate.
There we go.
The bigger circle.
That's
it. Bigger circle. Yeah. Bigger universe.
We know that you might not have an answer to this, but I'll just put it out there in case you have some insight. We know that in the UK, for example, Stargate fans have, if they have Prime Video, they have access to Stargate that's locked behind the extra MGM Plus £5 a month add-on. Yeah. Do you have any insight as to whether this show, when it goes to 240 territories, if in some places it might be behind the extra $5
I know there's discussions about that. Thank you for bringing that up. It's really important to talk about that. I know there are discussions about that. Distribution is an incredibly naughty issue, and not naughty like bad, like right. A knot. That it is unfortunately complicated by these licensing agreements. Again, if I'm remembering correctly, I think one of the reasons that the timing is right for 2027, 28 is because almost all of those agreements have either been renegotiated or opened, which means we would hope that they will not be behind an additional paywall. I know that everybody's having discussions internally about the best way to do it. Make your voices known.
Yeah.
And say, I'm willing to pay this. I cannot do this. I can watch it on Fast Channel. I'm willing to wait the 48 hours to watch it on free ad-supported. I can watch it on Prime Video when it comes out because I can pay for 1 year, but I can't do additional paywalls. Make sure that these are conversations that we're having, and explain, give context. Guys, the one thing that does get absolutely 100% thrown out is these pithy, your gotcha comments. Nobody gives a crap about those. Don't try to do any gotchas. This is give context to why you feel the way you feel, explain it, and be honest. We're asking them to be transparent. Be transparent.
Yes, sarcasm's not going to do Stargate any favors. If you really love it, then treat it like you would treat a friend. So
right. And if you honestly feel a certain way, then explain it. Let's say you really feel strongly that you don't want Stargate Universe story continued because it wasn't your thing. Okay, then say, hey guys, I loved Atlantis. I loved SG1. Universe wasn't my thing. I'd really rather prefer that's not the road we go. Just don't be hateful about it. It's just everybody 100% gets to have their opinion in this fan base. They don't get to be hateful about it.
That's it.
And you don't get to gatekeep.
Gatekeep, yeah. So, exactly. Last question. Whitney Nolan, VFX. Jenny, where did you get that shirt? Love it.
Oh, unfortunately, this was an old Stargate Command one.
Stargate Command.
Wait, but I forgot to tell you guys before we started. So I am not allowed, for obvious reasons, to sell anything that I had left over for swag from Stargate Command. Yeah. I just moved. I have a shit ton of swag that I can give away, and I want to do it. I want to give it to you guys to give away to fans. So I've got T-shirts like this. I've got, not that everybody loves Stargate Origins, but it's a cool T-shirt.
Yeah, they're cool T-shirts.
And so I've got stickers. I've got T-shirts. I've got a signed script. So, I've got stuff. I'll send the list to you guys. I want to give it to Gate World. I want you guys to give this stuff away to get people excited, get them involved. And it's sitting in a huge bin in storage right now. So let's do it. Let's give it to fans.
We appreciate it.
It'll be fun.
It'll be fun. It'd be fun.
All right.
Let's do it.
Thank you
Here's
so
my
much.
T-shirt. I don't think my T-shirt is officially licensed. Sorry.
Let me see, which one is
I
theirs?
got one of these.
There's
I
no
thought that
home, no place like home. Yeah.
I thought that was licensed. It's
Is it
not.
licensed?
I
That
don't
was
think
such a great quote.
Yeah. I thought I was
Yeah.
going to say there is no
That-
war embossing say. It's like, what?
I know.
Okay.
I know. I'm
There's
very
no-
interested to see what Amazon does. I mean, wouldn't it be cool if they came out with licensing and merchandising first to get everybody excited and say, but offer it obviously for extremely cheap. But it'd be cool because then it gets you talking. I mean, what if they offered concept art or a comic I think the opportunity is endless. We're in that amazing period of time where we get to have fun speculating about all the really cool stuff that's going to happen or may happen.
Do you think that fans who have created content like that Pegasus Project VR out there, do you think there's any chance in hell that Amazon might be interested in folding it in and licensing it to fans? Is that their MO at all? It
is. They did it somewhat with Wheel of Time and Rings of Power. Wheel of Time? No. One of the other ones.
Okay.
Expanse. They did it with Expanse.
So it's not unheard of to adopt a piece from fans and
There's, look, guys, you've heard me have this conversation before. There is a weird gray line to walk here. If you reach out to them, you've now made them aware of what you're doing.
Yep.
And there comes with that literally sometimes a price where they ask you to pay. Yeah. However, the upside is if they want to work with you to create things because what you've done is so amazing. I promise you, they are aware of our French friends. They're aware of Pegasus. They're aware of the steam engine game that's out there. They're aware of every single thing that's out there.
The 1/1 scale Stargate in Switzerland?
Yeah. They're aware of all of it. And I know they are because they asked me about that one.
Okay.
The thing is that I would be very careful right now to wait. Be patient. Find out what's going on. Guys, Darren and David are going to be able to have news and inside stories from Martin and from these guys so that they'll know what's going on. Definitely pay attention to what the source is. That you need to make sure that it's coming from the mouths of the people who are working on this directly. I saw something in Deadline that was completely wrong. So it's it was just, and it wasn't a bad thing. It was just they don't know Stargate.
Incorrect.
They don't know Stargate.
Yeah.
So it was
I see.
And they retracted it. It was about how it was based and what the storyline was. But it's not their fault. This is a franchise that their writers don't know, right?
Mm-hmm.
They just know kind of, oh yeah, it was that movie and it was that show. They don't know all the details.
Right.
So just for all the fans out there, just make sure you're checking your sources, double checking everything, and get your news directly from Martin and Joe and Brad. Otherwise, it's all rumor.
All right. Thank you, Jenny.
You guys, thank you so much for having me. Thank you. This is the most exciting way to end this year. I mean, what an amazing, someone posted this early Christmas present.
Something to be thankful for.
Totally.
Yeah.
Exactly. And
it
this
feels
week
great coming at this time of
especially.
year.
Yeah, exactly. Let's be thankful for this and let's think about all of the fan things that can happen. I mean, I'm putting together an OG Stargate Command meetup just because why not? I mean, it's all of the really cool things that we can go do and be together again and celebrate this. Thank you so much, you guys, for including me. And I love to talk about it. Obviously, I love to talk about the industry, and thank you for always including me. It's been an amazing friendship, and now we're on this whole new chapter.
It's a new journey. We had a conversation. David and I were getting ready for the rollout last week and said, hey, we want to have at least one live stream where we're bringing fans through on a round table and getting their reactions.
Yeah.
And one of the first things we said was Jenny needs her own show.
Oh, my God.
Fill an hour with State of the Gate. And I honestly hope that this is not the last State of the Gate. Because so much of your expertise is in marketing and pitching a show, right? So how about we come back in 6 months and say the State of the Gate is there's a new show that's premiering. We know the date now. We know the cast now.
To mark out this is not the last show. Okay. Very good.
Fix that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, look, guys, I would
Because we've crossed
love
through
to talk about this. I would
we've
love to talk
crossed
about it some more.
the
Yeah.
gap between galaxies, and we're finally
Now we
Destiny's
needed
coming
some
out the other side.
coordinates for the first gate. Is that what we're saying? All right.
Well, I will say this, as you would imagine, David knows this. I'm reaching out to every single source I have in this industry, and I'm talking to everybody I can find. And I'm in LA now once a month. So obviously, if there's any time you guys want to talk about it, I will bring you guys what I know, and let's have a conversation about where it is, what's going on. It doesn't have to be state of the gate. It can just be, holy crap, can you believe that this just happened? Did you see who they cast? I mean,
Finally, the state of the gate is strong.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's fun. But I mean, I don't want to force that, but I would love to come back and talk with you guys about how this progresses over the next 18 months and how the marketing. I mean, oh my God, I'm so excited to see and curious as hell to see how they market this. So
how they market it, and as you said, how they market it to different demographics.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I can't
territories.
wait.
Yeah, I think you're sitting with a couple of people who will at least have a toe in that in some way, shape, or form in terms of what they want, who they want to tap to get some information out. So it's
definitely
all options are on the table. I am so excited that we landed in the most favorable, version of this reality as far as I'm concerned. Right? And we threaded the eye of a needle in a hurricane, to get Martin Garrow to do this. It's awesome.
It's amazing. And I'm so proud of you guys. I'm so happy for you guys. When we talk about joy, this is joy.
Exactly. We could use a little joy. Jenny, thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. I love you guys. And I love everybody out there. I can't wait to see you at the next Stargate convention, whichever one it is.
We're talking. We've been talking, haven't we, Jenny? Yeah.
Yes, we have. Yes, we have. So we got a party for sure.
Do it. Let's go.
Let's go. Love you guys.
Love you guys. Thank you, Darren.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. That is Jenny Stiven of Clio Consulting and Darren Sumner of GateWorld.net. My name is David Reed. You're watching the Stargate Oral History Project. This is the 6th day in a row that I've been producing content for Stargate fans, and I need a break. So I'm going to take one because this week is Thanksgiving in the United States. Oh my gosh, there is Dog. I'm so sorry, but Dog comes first, guys.
You just can't resist.
It's Kenan. It's my buddy. Hi, Kenan.
Where's your voice? Look.
Kenan.
I know it's David. I know it's David. Where's David?
Where are you, Kenan? I'm here in the computer. Hi, your buddy. I miss my Kenan. That's right.
I'm looking for you. Look at that. Where is he? Is he here? David's not here. I'm so sorry.
Kenan, where's Timmy? Where's Timmy?
Oh, stop it.
Go get him.
Stop it.
Go get him.
Oh, my God. Okay. All right. Thanks so much for that.
Oh, you're so welcome.
I'm going to go walk.
Go walkies.
Go walkies.
All right, guys. My tremendous thanks to my moderators, Anthony, Jeremy, Kevin, Lockwatcher, Marcia, Raj, and Jacob. I'm sorry, life's better with a dog. Dogs are best people, even purple dogs. If you enjoy Stargate and you want to see more content like this on YouTube, it does mean a difference if you click that like button. It helps spread the show to grow its audience. Please also consider sharing the video with a Stargate friend. And if you want to get notified about future episodes, click subscribe. And if you hit the bell icon, we'll notify you the moment a new video drops, and you'll get my notifications of any last-minute guest changes. Let's see here. My tremendous thanks to my producers, Anthony Rowling, Kevin Weaver, Summer Roy, and Bryce Orrs. Matt Eagle SG Wilson for his amazing opening sequences. He's got something special planned for you later on this week. Actually, while I'm at it, let me pull this up here while I can. Do I have it? Please, do I have it? Going to show this to you guys. Yes. I want to stick something in your head. This is my hallway. I'm in the room right now, but this is what's outside of my hallway. This was made by a fan by the name of Chris Diston over at DeviantArt. And it's easily my favorite piece of Stargate art, period. And thanks to Matt, we're going to be doing something very special with it this Thursday. So if any of you guys know how I can get in touch with that guy, please let him know, because his eyes are about to fall out of his face. We have a very special project coming for you on Thursday that a Stargate cast member has helped me with. It's something that I've been working for a really long time to publish in some way, shape, or form, and I finally have the right combination of ingredients to pull it off. Keep an eye on dialthegate.com. Check out that schedule for all of the upcoming episodes. There's a lot that's going to be happening very quickly here. We're going to be bringing on my first interview from the camera department. Ryan Purcell, camera operator for Atlantis and Universe. He's coming on. I want to talk images and how he captures them. So that's going to be a great show. He's going to be coming on this Saturday. Oh, mods, by the way, this Saturday, the 29th of November, and a lot more is heading your way. I'm going to let you guys go now. I know you guys got ready to get going here. It's been over 2 hours. Thank you so much for making this a hell of a 6-day stretch. I don't know how we're all still functioning, but I mean, at this point, it's just for the love of this franchise. It truly is. My name is David Reed for Dial the Gate. I appreciate you tuning in, and I will see you on the other side.